Hey everyone, ND Sean 45 coming at you. Now, I hadn't planned on making another video until after the Fiesta Bowl, for when I do my normal post-game recap as I've always done. Well, plans have changed. See, I've come across something that I want to share with you guys. Something that's funny, interesting, ironic. Take your pick on whatever term you guys want to use for it. Now, my preview for the Fiesta Bowl at this point in time as I sit down to do this video has been up for, I don't know, 15, 16 hours, give or take. It's been less than a day. And already that video has gotten up to about 160 views, between 40 and 50 comments, some of which I had to remove because they were very classless and went a little beyond trash talk for the game on Friday. It is what it is. And a part of me got curious. Where is all that view traffic coming from? Because anyone who uploads videos here on YouTube regularly, you know that you can't see the the view traffic for a good 2 to 3 days after the video's been up. So this might sound kind of sad, but I decided to Google search my screen name, NDSean45. And sure enough, my preview for the Fiesta Bowl has ended up on an Ohio State message board called 11warriors.com. The story of my YouTube life. Message boards. This is the fourth one that I've encountered. And as I've told you guys many times in the past, whenever one of my videos has been picked up by a message board, it's always a message board that I've never heard of, never even thought to go search for, that kind of thing. And I got to tell you guys, reading some of the comments on here, and by the way, I have my laptop balancing on my leg here, so that's what all the shaking is from. So I apologize for that. But I just wanted to read you guys some of the comments that are being said about me on this message board. Some of them are kind of funny. Some of them, I guess I should be insulted by, but a lot of these comments are just very redundant and ones that I've heard a million times before. So it's really nothing new, especially with my experience with dealing with message boards in the past. But I gotta say one thing: this message board is not nearly as dirty as some of them have been in the past. But anyway, so I have the 11 Warriors website brought up right now, and the post where my preview has been posted it was posted by someone who calls himself Outraged Brush, and his headline is simply "Say hello to ND's resident YouTuber, ND Sean 45," and then he has the link to my my preview for the Fiesta Bowl posted. And before I get into some of these comments, I just gotta say, what is it that people have against those of us who make YouTube videos? I really don't understand it. I mean, this is just something fun that I like to do in my spare time. So I don't see what the problem with that is. So anyway, getting straight to the comments here. Some of them are, like I said, some are kind of funny. Some are, I guess, insulting, or I should be insulted by them. I don't know. Now, the first one comes from a guy who calls himself Bucknut1994, and he says, and this shows the mentality of all the keyboard warriors out there, all the message board warriors. He says, "Let's go comment on his other videos and troll the hell out of him." Do you guys really not have anything else better to do than that? I mean, if you're going to troll somebody, make it towards someone who actually matters. I mean, I'm just some guy who sits on his couch and does videos talking about his favorite football team. The next guy who calls himself Kareem Abdul-Jacob, he says, "I feel like this guy is just staring at himself on camera the whole time. At least he's not as dumb as that Bama dude." Well, Kareem Abdul-Jacob, yes, I do look into the camera. It's how I film. It's how I connect with my audience. It's so I can see myself and what I'm doing and how I present myself to my audience. So, there you go. This other guy who calls himself AZ Buckeye 45 says, "At least he said the Ohio State Buckeyes, LOL." Okay, so. This next guy who calls himself Bucks for Nuts says, "I see he is blocking their most recent national titles." There you go. You can see all 11 of them. Well, clearly, I know who AJ Fuller was, the guy who was leaving all the nasty comments on the video earlier, from what I saw. Oh, and these get better. That Kareem Abdul-Jabbar again goes on to say, Indy has so many guys out, it'll be a shame if we don't win by 2+ touchdowns. Let's go! Can't wait for this game. Although I'm still salty and think we should be in the playoff where we could have 2 more games left if we didn't shit the bed. Okay, so that's his opinion on the game and how he thought things should have gone. So I guess that's not really an attack towards me. So, okay, whatever. This next guy who calls himself the Butler, he says, I couldn't get 2 minutes in. If I heard him smack his lips one more time, I was going to scream. Well, Butler, scream away, my friend. It happens sometimes. Buckeye Eddie 27, this next guy says, very punchable offense, smacks of doucheness. See, I don't get it. Because someone does a YouTube video, that makes them a douche? Stupid. It just makes no sense. This one guy who calls himself Buxomies, he says, just another schmuck. Nothing to see here. I'm a schmuck? Why am I a schmuck? Because I just make a video making a prediction of what I think is going to happen on the game on Friday? Because I talk about my favorite team and how I want them to win? How does that make me a schmuck? I mean, I'm not rich. I'm just your average, everyday working guy who puts in his 40 hours like everybody else and makes videos about his favorite college football team in his spare time. I don't see how that makes me a schmuck. I didn't even, and the funny thing is, in my preview, I didn't even put down Ohio State. So some of these people, I mean, whether they're being sarcastic or not, I don't see what their problem is. This next guy who calls himself Goombay, he just puts up a meme that says Rudy was offsides. Like I haven't heard that one a million times before. This next guy who calls himself Marlon McClear says, remember the guy from Alabama last year, Law Tide or something? He was hilarious. That guy was a character. I know Law Tide. Yeah, he's a good guy. He is a character. This next guy who calls himself Leo Man Buckeye, he says, he looks like a former friend of mine, right down to the evil Spock facial hair, just as douchey too, as the friend that is. And then this guy has a picture of Mr. Spock, and it looks nothing like me. And of course, the attacks on facial hair continue later on in this post. But what's wrong with my facial hair? It's just a common look for facial hair for guys. I don't see what the problem is. This one guy who calls himself Unioto Tank 55. He says, this guy looks exactly like our band director in high school. Send me the picture. I'll be the judge of that. This one guy who calls himself Daniel says, I couldn't actually watch because he seems to have his camera on the floor. Well, no, Daniel. When I film my videos, my camera is not on the floor. I put it on a stand. Then he says, you would think someone smart enough that was a joke. I don't see, how am I not smart? I mean, what, are you that pissed off at me, what I said in the video, to say that I'm not smart? Just completely ignorant. You would think someone smart enough to go to Notre Dame could figure out a way to move the camera up and look someone in the eye. Oh, well, Daniel, look, I know I am opening myself for more criticism and heartache and bad-mouthing. I did not go to Notre Dame. There, I admit it. Did not go to Notre Dame. Never once claimed to. But, hey, it is what it is. I went somewhere else. But I'm a proud Subway alum, though. And actually, believe it or not, I really do have strong ties to Notre Dame, but I'm not going to give my personal life away here on camera. But anyway, Daniel, I have the camera set up like that so that the whole background is in the video. Now, maybe it's not for this video, but I want everything from the picture of the 92 Snowball that I have up here, a flag, pennants, a few other things. That's why I have the camera positioned the way that I do. It's not on the floor, it is on a stand. So it is how it's angled. And if you actually watch the videos, you would see that I always look people in the eye. Then he goes, he probably has a stick neck from leaning down all the time. I do think he made some good points, though. I think we should do what he is afraid of and beat the crap out of the Irish. Okay, that part's fine. I have no beef with that. That's what he hopes happens. Fair enough. No, Daniel, I do not have a stiff neck. Like I said, the way my laptop is angled when I do these videos, I am not looking down. So, nice job assuming, though. And you know what they say about assuming, right? This next guy who calls himself NH Buckeye, he says, that dude doesn't blink. Very weird. Kid looks like one of the Duggars. Oh, wow. That was a low comment. To say that I look like one of the Duggars, I mean, I get what he's referencing to, which is just sick. And this is the crap that I really hate about, doing YouTube videos and, interacting with Cyberworld, is people say such stupid things. But anyway, as far as my lack of blinking goes, happy now? I don't blink a lot. So what? It happens. It's just how... Sorry for actually wanting to see myself and how I look on camera. This next guy who calls himself Rob Reese says, good call. And this goes back to more facial hair attacking. What do these people have against facial hair? That seems to be a common trend among message boards. Attack facial hair, attack actual hairstyle, person's physical features. He goes, side note, goatee on some people just look out of place. Like a nun, this part's actually funny, like a nun in a mosh pit. That's pretty good. In the example above, it's like Beaver Cleaver had a love child with David Grohl. Ouch. I mean, I don't get that. I mean, what? So what? Because I just have a basic goatee style and have a comb over. Sorry, I'm not gonna spike my hair up and style it just for a freaking YouTube video. And plus, I just got off work not too long ago, so whatever. What do people have against basic hairdos and facial hair looks? I don't get it. This next guy who calls himself Action Stanley Jackson says, Golden Doucher. Okay, like I haven't heard that one a million times too. Come up with something original, why don't you? This next guy who calls himself Apex 614, he says, he looks like a heavier form of Ferris Bueller. Wow. I do not resemble Matthew Broderick in any way whatsoever, so that makes no sense whatsoever. Then one guy called Oyster says, save Ferris. Buckeye Eddie 27 chips in with Rooney eats it. Okay, whatever. Now this one comment from Scooby 22, it's really not towards me, but instead of play like a champion, the Golden Domer slogan, or the Golden Dummers, can't you people come up with anything original? Any of you ND haters? It's the same crap over and over. Why don't you say Notre Dame a bunch of times? The Golden Dummers slogan should read, we were hell on wheels before they invented the face mask. Count it down, boss. Glory days. Yeah, they'll pass you by. Okay, whatever. This next guy who calls himself Dwayne's, Dweinz. Can't wait to watch his videos about social issues and his faith. Well, Dwayne's, they're the two previous videos. Go watch away, and I know exactly what comments you'll probably say on them, so have fun. This next guy who calls himself Bucky Groove, he said we are a team that they could put a lot of points on the board against. Didn't I read somewhere on here where we were number 2 in scoring defense this year? Or am I remembering incorrectly? Bucky Groove, I saw the same stat too. Yes, you guys only allow an average of 14 points a game. All I was saying is that there were some teams on your schedule that have put up a good amount of points on you, like Indiana, for example. And so All I'm saying is it can be done. That's all I was saying. I didn't say anything that was really wrong. I acknowledged wholeheartedly that you guys were a top 10 defense. And the last comment, well, actually, I see there's a new one on here now, too. This guy who calls himself Weak Side LB, or Weak Side Linebacker, he says, who is he talking to? Does he have a following? People with YouTube channels that talk into the camera might have some undiagnosed medical condition. See, these are the stupid, asinine comments that I hear people on message boards and people who do have YouTube channels but don't make videos and have a faceless profile pic. They say this stupid crap all the time. I look into the camera to talk to my audience. What is so hard about that, Weak Side, for you to understand? And overall, I just don't get what it is with people bad-mouthing people who do YouTube videos. I mean, aside from the stupidity that I have to deal with, like comments like that and people like this, I've been doing this since 2009, doing YouTube videos. And I've made a lot of awesome friendships. I have a friend overseas in Ireland because I decided to get on YouTube one day. And so the friendships I've made have been worth it. And the places that I've gotten to go, things that I've gotten to do, it's been a blast. And all because I ventured onto YouTube. So I'm not ashamed of that. And I just don't see what the problem is that people have with just some guy like myself who wants to, in his free time, sit down and talk about his favorite college football team. I don't get the hate for that. I don't see why that is so offensive to people. I mean, it's, if you're going to attack someone on YouTube, make it someone worthwhile. I mean, myself, I'm not worthwhile. I'm just some random guy. But anyway, the last comment was Scooby22 chipping in and saying golden domeritis. Okay, like that's another one that I've heard millions of times before too, and in one way or another that is. But yeah, again, with the previous comment, looking right into the camera, like I said, that's how I film. That's how I talk to my audience. I look into the camera so I can talk to them. What's so hard to understand about that? So yeah, that's there you go. Yet another message board adventure in the YouTube life of ND Sean 45. I mean, seriously. I mean, I like I said, I shouldn't be surprised at this because when you talk about a big game between two historic programs, it's going to get picked up by somebody. But just the things that people say, just when you think you've heard everything, you think that people would eventually have more things to do than badmouth some guy on YouTube. I just don't see the reason behind that. It just seems stupid. So there you go, guys. I just wanted to share that with you. And to all those guys in 11 Warriors, like I said, get something better to do with your time. Why someone like me is even worth posting their video on their website and bad-mouthing, it's not worth it. I don't see how it is. It's just stupid. So, yeah, with that, guys, until my recap after the Fiesta Bowl, go Irish, beat Buckeyes.